I'm going to make you a bet. By the end of this video, you'll see the SEC, JPMorgan, BNY, and Mastercard all pointing at the same piece of technology. And it's not Bitcoin. It's not Ethereum. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. But I don't think I'm wrong, because they already tested it in June, and it settled in 5 seconds. Now here's the thing. There's one line buried in this SEC announcement that I can't stop thinking about. And when you understand what it really means for XRP, you're going to wish you'd been paying attention months ago. But hold on. Before I show you that line, you need to understand what just happened. Because something that's been true in American markets for over 200 years just started to die. And listen, this next part matters. Every single pillar of the old system, SWIFT, the DTCC, the banks, the stock exchanges themselves, they're all quietly bending toward one thing. A thing XRP was built for back in 2012, before half of you even knew what crypto was. The part that gave me chills? Barely anyone's connecting the dots, but the receipts are everywhere. So stop scrolling, write this down, because in the next 14 minutes, everything you thought you knew about where this is headed is about to change. Real quick, from the heart, I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here is a promise. Anything I say about price is my opinion, not a guarantee. I share this because I believe in this space, and I believe in you. So do your own research, protect your family first, and let's learn together. Deal? Okay, let's get into it. All right, let me clear something up right away, because a lot of channels are getting this wrong. You've probably seen the headlines screaming that the SEC just tokenized $100 trillion. So I did something crazy. I actually read the announcement. Nope, that's not what happened. Not even close. Here's what really happened. On September 17th, write that date down. The SEC is holding a public roundtable at its Washington headquarters. The topic? Moving U.S. stock markets toward 24-hour trading, around the clock, never closing. And the chairman, Paul Atkins, said something that stopped me cold. We are moving towards a new day and night in the U.S. equity markets. Read that again. A new night. The man running the most powerful financial regulator on earth is telling you the markets are about to stop sleeping. Now, I want to be straight with you, because that's how we do it on this channel. This roundtable is a first step. There's no timeline yet, no switch getting flipped tomorrow. Anyone telling you 24/7 starts Monday is selling you something. But here's why it's still enormous. The U.S. equity market is worth roughly $75 trillion, and the regulator in charge of it just publicly admitted the old model is finished. So you're probably thinking, cool, but what does stock trading have to do with XRP? Everything. Because there's only one kind of technology on this planet that already runs 24 hours a day, settles in seconds, and never closes. Blockchain. And the network that was purpose-built for exactly this. Fast, cheap, always-on settlement, launched in 2012. XRP. While Wall Street was still ringing a bell at 4 p.m., the XRP Ledger was already doing what the SEC is only now scheduling a meeting to talk about. But here's where it gets interesting. Because the SEC isn't the first to fold. They're actually one of the last. So who folded first? And why does every single one of them lead back to the same ledger? Let me show you. Let me back up a second, because you need the full picture to feel how big this is. Start with SWIFT, the backbone of global banking for 50 years. SWIFT unveiled a blockchain-based system for round-the-clock cross-border payments, with global banks lining up to pilot live transactions using tokenized deposits. SWIFT, the dinosaur itself. Then the DTCC, the plumbing behind basically every stock trade in America, moving toward 24/7 collateral mobility and integrating with blockchain oracles to modernize how risk is managed globally. Now here's the thing. These aren't crypto startups. These are the oldest, heaviest institutions in the entire system. And they're not dabbling. The London Stock Exchange is planning round-the-clock trading launching in early 2027, openly saying they want to win back investors who left for 24/7 crypto platforms. Japan is moving government bonds on-chain with stablecoin settlement, and BNY, one of the oldest banks in America, is laying the groundwork for 24/7 Treasury settlement, with tokenized treasuries and pilot trades on its own blockchain by the end of 2026. You see the pattern yet? Swift folded, the DTCC folded, London folded, Japan folded, BNY folded. Why? Here's where folks go wrong. They think these giants woke up one morning and fell in love with crypto. Nope. Opposite, actually. They looked at what blockchain could do. Instant settlement, no closing hours, near zero cost, and they realized something terrifying. Adapt or get phased out. So they're adapting, all of them, at the same time. And now watch how this snaps back to XRP. BNY? That's the bank chosen to custody Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin. Ondo Finance, one of the firms driving tokenized treasuries, they ran a live settlement test on the XRP Ledger. These aren't random names on a list. The same institutions racing toward 24/7 are the same ones already touching XRP's rails. That's not a coincidence. That's a map. And I promised you a bet at the start of this video. The SEC, JPMorgan, BNY, and Mastercard all pointing at one technology. This next section is where I prove it. Because in June, they didn't just talk about it, they did it. And the results should be on every XRP holder's screen right now. Okay, this is the part that gave me chills, so let me keep it 100 with you. Back in June of this year, 4 names you know, JPMorgan, Mastercard, Ondo Finance, and Ripple, completed a real transaction. Not a white paper, not a someday, a live, cross-border redemption of a tokenized US Treasury fund. And they settled it on the XRP Ledger. Now here's the number that matters. That settlement finalized in about 5 seconds. 5. The same transaction on the old rails, the DTCC, the banks, the system the SEC is scrambling to modernize, takes 3 to 5 business days. Days versus seconds. That's not an upgrade. That's a different universe. Let me pause here because I want to know something. Did you know this test already happened before you clicked this video? Type yes or no in the comments right now. I'm reading them today, and I genuinely want to see how many of you knew XRP was already settling institutional treasuries. Yes or no? Go. Okay, now, I have to be honest with you, because that's the deal we made. In that specific test, the cash leg used RLUSD, Ripple's stablecoin, not XRP directly. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend XRP itself moved the whole thing. But here's what actually matters, and this is the part the loud accounts skip. RLUSD runs on the XRP ledger. Every transaction on that ledger requires XRP. XRP is the bridge asset, the fuel, the thing that makes the network run. So when institutions choose the XRP ledger as their settlement fabric, and they are, XRP sits at the center of it. Not as a lottery ticket, as infrastructure. So think about the bet I made. The SEC wants 24/7 markets. JPMorgan, BNY, Mastercard, Ondo, they already tested 24/7 settlement. And where did they test it? The one ledger built for this since 2012. I told you they'd all point at the same technology. There it is. Did I win the bet? Tell me below. But here's what nobody's telling you. None of this matters unless one man believes it. And what he said back in December, on camera, might be the most bullish thing a US regulator has ever said out loud. Let me show you exactly what he believes. So who's actually steering this ship? Paul Atkins, the SEC Chairman. And I need you to understand who this man is, because for years the SEC was the single biggest enemy this industry had. Back in December, Atkins said, and this is his view, not a policy, not a promise, that tokenization is the future, that putting securities on chain brings real ownership and transparency. And here's the line that made me sit up. He said he expects all US markets to move on-chain within about 2 years, maybe less. 2 years. Let me keep it 100 with you. We're already most of the way through year 1 of that clock. And everything we just covered, Swift, the DTCC, BNY, the 24/7 roundtable, that's the timeline playing out in real time. Now here's where folks go wrong. They hear a regulator say something bullish and they scream, "Guaranteed price target." Stop. That's not what this is. Atkins never mentioned XRP by name. I'm not going to put words in his mouth. That's a line I won't cross. And neither should you. What he's building is something bigger and quieter than a price pump. He's building the legal runway, regulatory clarity, the exact thing that's been holding this entire asset class down. And ask yourself, when the fog finally lifts, when on-chain securities become normal and 24/7 settlement becomes the standard, which network is already there, already tested, already trusted by JPMorgan and BNY? You already know the answer. That, in my opinion, not a promise, is why clarity matters more for XRP than almost any coin out there. It's not built for hype. It's built for exactly the world Atkins is describing. So here's my challenge to you before the last section. Everything I've shown you is public, verifiable, on the record. So why does it feel like a secret? Why is barely anyone connecting these dots? Stick with me for 60 more seconds, because this is the part that actually decides whether you look back on today and smile. Let me bring this all home. Here's where we are. The SEC just admitted the old market model is dying. September 17th is the funeral. Every major pillar of traditional finance is racing toward 24/7 on-chain instant settlement. Institutions already tested it on the XRP Ledger, and the man in charge of the SEC believes the whole system moves on-chain within 2 years. Now, I know some of you are staring at your portfolio right now, and XRP is sitting around $1, and you're tired. I get it. I really do. So let me reframe this for you, because it's the truth. Price is the last thing to move, not the first. Everything you just watched is the foundation being poured. SWIFT, the DTCC, BNY, the SEC itself. That's concrete going into the ground. And nobody pours a foundation that size for a building they don't intend to finish. We're early. I know it doesn't feel like it after the year we've had. But look at what's actually being built versus where the price sits. That gap? That's not failure. That's opportunity that hasn't been priced in yet. This is the first chapter, not the last. The pain doesn't last forever. It never does. And the foundation is being poured right now, whether the chart shows it today or not. So here's what I need from you. If this connected some dots, if you finally see why the SEC, JPMorgan, BNY, and Mastercard all lead back to the same ledger, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn notifications on, because I track this stuff every single day so you don't have to. Drop your yes or no in the comments if you haven't, and tell me, do you think XRP is ready for the world that's coming? I read every comment. Stay early, stay optimistic, protect your family, do your own research, and never let anyone rush your decisions, including me. This has been Crypto with BHW. We're early. The foundation is being poured, and I'll see you in the next one.